Here we are. We are in the losers bracket, everybody. The last chance qualifier, Rospidol against names are overrated. So, also, to kind of update you guys a little bit, traditionally when you look at the bracket as well, that I will show in a moment, normally we would have another match after this. If you remember, we had in the winner bracket final, we had DDX go up against Team Gonen. DDX took it and qualified for the playoffs directly, whereas Gonen dropped down into the losers bracket final. But apparently they forfeited their slot. So from the looks of it, this is going to be the last match that we have in the group and will determine which team qualifies for the playoffs. At least that's my information right now. There was a rumor floating around in the chats a bit earlier that Gonen might play after all, but honestly I haven't heard this confirmed by anybody, and the admins have been pretty firm about them stating, yeah, well, they said that they are not going to play. So I don't know if they just didn't have the players today once again, or what the reason was, but from the looks of it, this is going to be the last best of 5 in the last chance group, which means that one of these two teams is going to make it into the playoffs. So just as a bit of an update there for the bracket tree, if people are wondering what's going on with this. It is a best of 5. Tumor Spider Queen. We are here once again at the tournament, which has a prize pool of 1,500 euros with the Eternal Conflict. We got Anduin and Hanzo. 4 names are overrated. And Blaze gets played by Itrax over on the left side. Rospidol arguably comes into this as the favorite. We get Shogal again. I've seen this before. I think Rospidol tried this against the Swedes, and that was the one game that they lost. Shogal was shut down pretty significantly. Now they're trying it again against names are overrated, and I'm absolutely here for it. We got some Shogal action. Okay. Mech-Onek. Yes, that's a Cho'Gall name that I already know by heart because we've seen them play this so many times. Now, what is the red team going to do against him? Greymane, Tychus, Leoric, what's it going to be? Well, Tychus is banned out, so that's not going to be a thing. But who else are they now drafting to try and counteract Cho'Gall? I gotta love Rospidol. These guys are fun. These guys are very, very entertaining. It's kind of crazy to me how many Cho'Gall games we already had in the new patch, considering that we didn't have a single Vikings game yet. There was a time where Vikings was the way superior pick, but we have some real Cho'Gall connoisseurs in the scene right now. It's not only Rospidol. Okay, Greymane and a Nubarak. So Nubarak is essentially the Walmart special. You get 2 cocoons for the price of 1 when you're hitting Cho'Gall. So that allows you to play a 5 versus 3 against the rest of the team. And then Greymane with the bullet. Make it Anna for some nano boosting, but they are going to try to cocoon Cho'Gall and then just drive the fight past it. So that's definitely going to be a thing for names are overrated. Junkrat as our final pick for the blue team. So with Tomb of the Spider Queen being our first map, let's see what we're going to get here. But yeah, this should be fun. Also, again, if you guys are watching this on YouTube right now, we're heading into the playoffs. Make sure that you are also hitting that like button and sub to the channel, especially if you like the bracket overlay. That's actually costing me way more time than I'm willing to admit, but I've now added it every time that I could. So if you're watching this on YouTube, a thumbs up on the video would be great, and also a sub. We get Malthael as our final pick. Alright, so we have a few more tools, not only Greymane. Like basically all 3 picks after Cho'Gall was taken are now designed to try and counter him. Let's find out if it works for them. Tomb of Spider Queen, map number 1 in the best of 5 series. Rospidol in blue over on the left side. We got Machko on Cho and Bronek on Gal. Mech-Onek, the spiciest burger in the Nexus. Alvaros on Junkrat, Itrax on Blaze, and Lavakal is playing Anna. Over on the right side of the map, names are overrated with the Dark Wolf on Nubarak. We got Madron on Greymane, Mr. Tyke on Malthael, Philadelphia on Hanzo, and Hanzuka on Anduin. So, let's go! It is party time. Every time I see this name, by the way, I want a burger. Every time. There's a couple of names and also teams that really just like trigger the impulse in me to get a pizza. But every time I see Mech-Onek, I just want to get some shitty burgers. And it's actually kind of wild. I'm not quite sure if I'm the only person that thinks like this, but wait a second. Sometimes, you know, the bad McDonald's burger, like, sometimes you want to have the shitty fast food burger. You know what I mean? You don't want to go and get like a proper, real good, amazing burger that you get at a nice restaurant or a fantastic burger joint. Sometimes you're just jonesing for that absolute disgusting fast food hit that you get from not even the big burgers, but like the small $1, $2 ones that you get like McDonald's or Burger King, for example. That McChicken or whatever it is. That one, the spicy chicken in particular. Sometimes I really am just like, oh, I would love some of those. Haven't gotten one in years, I gotta say. But sometimes I'll just sit there and I was like, hey, if I had the chance right now, I would order myself 3 of these things and just go ham on them. So, yeah. They get a kill at the bot lane, though. It tracks. Okay, he's down. They got the quick hit right there. 1-2-0. Names are overrated. Leading with first blood. Nicely done. Yeah, we'll see. Now that I'm traveling next week a little bit, could be that that you end up at some fast food joint. That is always possible when traveling. Ana is also getting attacked apparently a little bit and has some support from McOnegg, but he's not invading that camp. There's way too many heroes down at the bottom of the map. It's just not happening. Ooh, okay, good hits against him, but Cho'Gall made it out. Can the blue team win this one? They were very confident with that Cho'Gall pick. They didn't waste any time on that. They picked him early, allowed counter picks, but names are overrated. They were a bit worried about a ban in the 3rd position for good reasons, since they showed this in the past. Teams have started to do that against them quite a bit. So now the attack down at the bottom against Philadelphia. Careful here. Blaze, by the way, with Meltdown now on level 4. And in the middle of the map, Mr. Tycho is currently melting down. And is staying pretty long. Wants some heals. Okay, they're trying to go for Alvarez apparently. No dice there. No luck. But there's pressure. There's a lot of pressure now from Rospedal. The blue team has already figured out that they can get aggressive with their, I want to say 4-man at the bottom of the map and have Junkrat just rotate between the lanes. But this is taking down the gate and one of the towers. So some nice structural damage already dished out. Turn-in attempts are being shut down. This is one of the downsides of playing Cho'Gall on this map. If you try to turn in Cho'Gall's gems, there's not that many heroes that can distract, protect, and allow you, or make it easier for you to get that turn-in. It doesn't make it impossible, but makes it sometimes a little bit harder for the Cho'Gall team to deliver. Always assuming, of course, that Cho'Gall has a majority of your gems, but that's usually the case here. So, top side, Greymane was trying to deliver too, but it's the blue team that was able to turn in 25 at least. And down at the bottom of the map, with more damage against Philadelphia. And Hanzo is taking tons of damage here, so that makes this even worse. Has to actually half back, which means that they're missing him for a bit on lane. And Cho'Gall has been doing pretty okay already. In experience, the two teams are even. But there's enough gems now for a full turn-in. 40 have been delivered. And it seems like Blaze is going to try and make that a complete set. And he gets it. So, yeah, blue web beavers are going to be descending. Given the fact that we've already seen structural damage by the blue team, this could go extremely well for them. More so if they get a kill here. But the jet propulsion missed. So, Malthael is totally fine. Level 7 king in on both sides. Cho'Gall attacked. Nice aggression from names are overrated. The hope being that you take down Cho'Gall or anyone else for that matter, just as the objective comes down. So far, the blue team hasn't gotten a kill yet, but this is again their big opportunity to do decent damage and, to be honest with you, get a fort. And I think there's a very solid chance for them to actually take a fort down. And I think this is what we're going to see down at the bottom of the map. There's going to be some defenses coming in. Anzuka is already on the way. But now Inspire kicks in the new push mechanic through the patch. Minion wave gets actually taken down a little bit faster than expected, so they don't get a lot of Inspire value here on the minions. But they still got damage in with the web weavers. Less than I thought they would though. So that's a lot of damage on the fort. Also at the top lane they opened another wall up, but they weren't able to take a fort down yet. Whereas for names are overrated, there's still the opportunity to get a turn in themselves. They haven't lost anyone yet, so they still maintain all the gems. 80 in total. And they're trying to turn in with Hanzuka, and more importantly, oh, if he can turn in, that would be brilliant, of course. But he's trying to go for, if not a kill, then at least a bit of damage, and that's a lot of damage on Junkrat. So, yeah, well done on that account. Still no full turn-in, not even a partial turn-in or anything. Hanzo gets attacked down at the bottom of the map, diving underneath the fort. The priority has changed, so the fort targets the minions now. Doesn't really care about the attacking hero. So, yeah. Shogal tried to take advantage of that, but wasn't able to deliver them the kill. Defense against the siege giants. But one of the problems, of course, that the red team will have the level 10 ability a bit faster. On level 7, we now got the double trouble. And they are going to now pick last rights here. Arrow is in. We get a lot of stuns now with the light bomb as well. And of course, we're getting last rights. And no bullet. Go for the throat instead. So no bullet against Shogal. Greymane still with lots of damage, but they want to go for the throat instead. Red team now with their own web weavers as they get the turn in. And for the blue team, it's just all about heroic abilities. They need to get the level 10, and they're going to get it in a moment, which means also nano boosted Shogal, of course. So we got the Twisting Nether and Hammer of Twilight, Riptire for Junkrat, and the Bunker for Blaze. I mean, what else? Nobody's going to go for Combustion here, and thank God for that. That's a talent that they should rework, honestly. This is one of the shittiest ults that I've ever seen in my entire life, so this is something that should really redo. But, okay. Defense in the middle, being set up by Shogal. Game here continue. Only one single kill so far. And the defense is so far looking pretty alright. I mean, that web weaver is basically taken out. So, job well done. Junkrat is dealing with the top lane. Nano boost on Shogal. Dives in. And, yeah, pushing them back is all that they really need to do here. So, defense at the top lane was also very strong. Down at the bottom of the map. A little bit more trouble for them. But Itrax is doing fairly okay, and the rest of the team is now rotating in to help out. Bunker hasn't been used yet either, so that's another thing in their favor. Here comes the ult. Oh, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt a lot. They're gonna lose heroes here. Hanzuka goes down on Anduin. Shogal is alive. Even the last rights was not able to kill him. It's shocking to me, though, that the red team did not lose more heroes. Boy, were they on the run here. That flank coming in from the side was really threatening them, and that was clutch. First of all, Shogal surviving was of course big for the blue team. That last rights would not take him out, but this was still a moment where names are overrated. Could have lost a lot more than just a single hero. So currently, it's one death on each side. We have Junkrat pushing out the top lane already now that the web weavers are appearing, so they are hoping for more than a fort, I'd say. Because the fort at the bottom of the map is just a formality. Trying to get more than that has to be the aim. So, yeah. As long as they control Greymane in particular, they're going to be fine here. Shogal is already pushing in, but really nice defense. They might not get that bot lane fort as easily as I thought they would. Yeah, web weavers with a little bit of damage, but that's Philadelphia in trouble. Hanzo's on the run and is able to jump out as Shogal wants to get closer. Short distance arrow used for the stun. The bottom fort will indeed fall. And now that they're moving in here to take the minion waves out, take the gems, we have also topside Junkrat, him pushing and doing lots and lots of damage. Greymane came in, but is not gonna get anything. And in the middle, another fort has been destroyed, so that means 2 forts are gone. And that's level 13 in the hands of Rospidol. They're looking good here. They haven't gotten a lot of kills, they haven't removed a lot of gems from the opponent, but I gotta say, they are not looking too bad with what they're trying to pull off at this moment. As long as they don't lose more heroes, they're totally fine. Bunker is being dropped immediately. Jet propulsion, Shogal, they're fine. Yep, they're totally okay. So, this is still 13 versus 13. It's not a disaster yet for names are overrated. They still have their gems, they can get the turn in. But it is still worthy to point out again that 2 forts were now lost. Which obviously means that passive experience is now increasing. So, yeah, that's going to be pretty important. Turn-ins are happening. 51 gems are ready. Damage output so far, we have Gal on 30,000. Hanzo has 40k. They wait for the turn-in. They want to time this around the web weavers, as you can see. They were expecting the turn-in. They knew that it would happen. So they're timing their own camp around the opponent. Obviously, the camp gets also taken on the right side. So as long as they're making this just right, they will have a decent defense over here to try and take not too much damage to this. Cho'Gall is just dropping abilities to scout out what's going on, but they wait for the web weavers. Now they drop it, and they can attempt to defend the mid lane as best as possible. And I guess that Junkrat is going to help out a bit more here too. So everything that they can blow up is going to be worth it. I mean, maybe even sacrificing a Riptire, considering how aggressive that push might be. But Junkrat is at the bottom of the map now. Blaze is dealing with the top, and Cho'Gall is actually doing pretty okay here. So them having that mercenary camp in place helped a lot. Now the minion wave is coming in, and the web weaver is nearly eliminated. So that was pretty big. Down at the bottom of the map, it's a big dive, on the other hand, from Names Overrated. And Cho'Gall is now trying to push them back. We still have a chance to save that for now. Cho'Gall takes the web weavers out. And in the middle, there's more pressure coming, but the defense from the blue team is, I mean, spectacular. Second turn in from Names Overrated, and not a single fort has been destroyed. Bot lane had it the worst, and it's still totally fine here. So this is where things could get a bit more dangerous for Names Overrated, because they're just not getting enough structural damage out with this. Mega Onek here. I mean, the one thing to point out too is not only about the passive experience. If you lose your forts in the middle, you also don't have fountains any longer that you can tap when you're going for the objective. So the only fort that is still standing, where there is a fountain, which Greymane now, for example, just went to, is at the top. So if this one is gone as well, then you will have a much, much harder time. Quest completed on level 7 for Gal. And it's all about the next turn in here. Madron is trying to turn in first. They have enough gems now to get the full turn in. Blue team isn't quite there yet, but they will soon have it. And the pressure from Cho'Gall, now that we're scaling into the late game, is definitely starting to become a problem. Molten Block into the Frenzied Fists right there. And Cho'Gall in the late game is becoming a huge deal. And you can already tell, Malthael goes down, and that's gems down the drain this time. They couldn't recover those at all. And with a Riptire, they're blowing Anduin and its Ragdoll into another universe. So he's gone too. And that is trouble. That's 3 kills to 1, and all of a sudden the world is wide open for Hospital. They can work on that turn-in, and they have sent Cho'Gall towards the top lane immediately to try and get that boss. So, yeah, this is a huge issue. Atrax can get the 21 gems turned in. Madron is rotating around, is trying to deliver first. They are still not quite in possession of enough gems to get a turn in. And apparently Cho'Gall and his boys, they missed the rotation towards the turn-in point. Alvarus is now realizing what's going on. And they want to avoid that the red team gets a turn-in to counter the boss push. And there's just not enough gems yet for Names Overrated. Ooh, the tactical pause from Hanzuka. Alright, yeah, apparently they gotta figure out what to do here. Hanzuka is pausing the game. I don't think that anybody dropped here. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, it seems that Greymane went bye-bye and is out of the game for now. But, yeah, it's a good moment to pause, to be honest with you. They have to prepare for the boss push at the top, get ready for that. And now we have enough gems for the turn-in. And these two are going to deliver. So then we have the boss pushing at the top and the next set of web weavers for Rospidol. So once we're ready to continue, we'll see how much damage Names Overrated is going to take here, because Rospidol certainly is out for blood at this point. Apparently we had a couple of lag issues for Names Overrated, but they're now done with. Blue team has his web weavers coming in. The good news for the red team, though, is that with all the turn-ins that they just made, they, even if they die, they're not losing a lot of their gems. Okay, Malthael died at the top lane, okay. That I didn't expect. Malthael dying now too, that makes matters even worse, because the web weavers are just now on the way. Junkrat is escorting the bot lane out. We now have 2 minion waves with Inspire behind that boss, so that makes the entire push already insanely dangerous. And this is a bit of a disaster. I mean, damn, they're stacking everything here. If they're now getting kills on top of that too, then it becomes worse. I was saying a bit earlier that I'm just asking myself how many keeps are going to be lost here, or if they are going to lose a keep in the first place, but this could be even... Okay, this could have been worse, but now that Anna is gone, it's not going to be the end of the game, I think. That said, Nubarak is also eliminated, so yeah. But they might be better off moving towards the middle and trying, you know, to take a couple of these out. Inspire kicks in as Junkrat attacks the structure, and that of course is now triggering that push to be much more aggressive. Down at the bottom of the map we're seeing the same thing. So yeah, they're exploiting the new Inspire mechanic in the patch completely, and they're getting every single keep. To be fair, they prepped for this push very well. They pushed all of the lanes out basically, had the boss too, and it was all teed up for success. But having all of those minion waves pushing right away onto the keeps allowed them to just use a hero on every lane to trigger the Inspire buff by attacking the structures, and then there was no defense. If you have a massive amount of AoE clear, then you can maybe take the range minions out quickly enough. But we're now talking about a team that has nothing but their core left against an opponent that is sitting on level 20 basically, and is still in possession of every single fort. So this is crazy good for Rospidol. Names are overrated. They need a miracle in order to bring this back. They need kills and need them quickly. Cocoon is already out. Jet Propulsion is missing since, well, he turned around. But there's the kill on Ana again. Greymane though, he dies too. And now Last Ride is obviously gone, which was initially intended to be a counter to Malthael, who's sitting on 26 gems now and tries to get back. We also have a Nuburak attempting to get away. And Cho'Gall is just 1v3ing people now. Malthael is gone, Cho'Gall is on the run, and he's gonna make it. And the more heroes die on the other side, the more these catapults and camps are now gonna push, because we have a lot of them heading for the red team's core. 54,000 damage for Gall, 55.5. Well, interesting. Muzzle top. And 36,000 for Cho. So that seems like it's going to be game. It didn't work out against Team Gonen, against the Swedes, but now Rospidol is able to make Cho'Gall work on Tomb of the Spider Queen against Names Are Overrated. They take the first win in the best of 5 series here in the losers bracket of the Last Chance qualifier. GG. We're going to head in game number 2 in a second. Guys, if you enjoy the content, if you like the coverage here, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. It really helps to spread the videos to people that were interested in Heroes of the Storm in the past and might rejoin the game. So spread the love a little bit, help to promote the games here, like and subscribe, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the series. Rospidol is in the lead. They took it on Tomb of the Spider Queen, and Names Are Overrated decided that they want to have the map choice for the second map. And I honestly just caught that, but in the previous series that Names Are Overrated played against the Enjoyers, they won every time they picked the map. They chose the initial map, which was Tomb of the Spider Queen, and won. Then they proceeded to pick Cursed Hollow after their first loss and won on that map as well. And then they chose the last map after losing game 4 and won it on Dragonshire. So now they're following the same pattern. Not quite as successful so far as they were in the previous best of 5, but Names Are Overrated chose Tomb of the Spider Queen, and now after their first loss they again go to Cursed Hollow. And apparently they're respecting Cho'Gall enough that they are banning him out on this map. So Rospidol has managed it once again, so there's at least one ban down the drain now on the side of Names Are Overrated. I'm not sure if they're intimidated enough to ban Cho'Gall out for the rest of the series, or this is the only thing, but yeah. And on top of that, you can tell that Rospidol did their homework. They definitely watched the previous matches, because they're banning out Sylvanas and Dehaka, who were both staples in the composition that Names Are Overrated were building. Garrosh gets banned instead. And yeah, I'm curious. I am very intrigued. I want to see what else gets picked now. And okay, we're starting things off with Maiev. That's already getting aggressive here. I like it. I still have hopes that eventually it's gonna happen. That Vikings pick in the new patch is gonna be a thing. I would be surprised if we didn't get Vikings at least in the playoffs. Then again, to be fair, it could be that Vikings are just again banned out, similar to what we saw in Group B. Tyrael, lots of Tyrael games. Not only from Names Are Overrated, but I mean Tyrael is in very high demand these days again. And we have a Blaze at his side. With Maiev, you already know that it's going to be a triple front line for Rospidol, so the question is right away what's going to be the range damage that we're going to get. We got Muradin for extra meat at the front, Budget Gimli, and Brightwing for Lavakal. So, globals, you could still go for Falstad if you wanted to, if you feel the need to add one here. But we saw from the ex-Fnatic boys was them trying to play this a bit more with ETC and stage dive. We've seen this a few times. I believe Mopsio also had one game where he did it with his team. Chromie banned. Always a highlight. Get Chromie out there. The sandwich needs to be removed. And they're banned. It's my birthday apparently. Alright, so they're banning all of the shitty heroes. Anduin is banned too. Glorious. What are we then getting as support for names are overrated? I mean, they could follow up on any kind of Tyrael engage with several heroes here. We could get Malfurion. We could get, I mean, Uther I don't think is going to be played here. But technically you could even go into a Stukov build if you wanted to. Lucio, fair enough. They want to get a little bit of OP Overwatch into the mix apparently. Going for a double Overwatch lock on Lucio and Hanzo. Yeah. They know how to pray to the Blizzard gods, it seems. But to round out the draft for the blue team, what are we getting here? Again, we need some real nice burst damage for them after what Maiev and Muradin are going to try and do here after all of the stuns and the CC, poorly from Brightwing, of course, included. And here comes Yrel, and we get Junkrat. Okay, a little bit of Riptire moves. Yeah, Yrel is going to be sitting tight on the lane. There's a lot of just really tanky frontliners. But that leaves us with our final pick. For names are overrated, it's kind of important to win it here. You don't want to go 0-2 in a best of 5 series. This takes a lot to bring back. Not impossible, we've seen plenty, but still, never easy. Costolo, map number 2. Our final pick is Falstad. Talked about him earlier, now we get the birdie. And it's time to head into our second map. Ladies and gentlemen, names are overrated against Rospidol. Off we go! Rospidol on the left with Lavakal on Brightwing, Bronic on Maiev, Machko is playing Muradin, we got Atrax on Yrel, and Alvaros is playing Junkrat. Names are overrated on the other hand, now down one map in this best of 5 series, starting over on the right side. And we got them with the Dark Wolf on Tyrael. We have Cabron on Hanzo, Mr. Taiko on Blaze, Hanzuka on Lucio, and Philadelphia is playing Falstad. So, let's get this show on the road. Can the red team take back the series? Force game number 3 on even footing. Or are we going to see an extended lead for Rospidol on their way towards the playoffs? And Hanzuka is pausing it early. They had some lag problems in game number 1. So this might actually be a continuation of that. I really, really hope that they don't have bigger problems with their players. Because it would honestly be a shame if that happens. So let's assume it's lag problems again. And let's hope that they're resolved quickly. And it seems that it was actually not a lag problem for them, but just some Discord bug that they had to deal with real quickly. So, some voice issue from the looks of it. And, yeah, that's fine. I mean, again, every now and then something like that happens. By the way, 30 seconds now. This is when the mercenary camps spawn. So it has been, the initial spawn has been reduced. It's not at the 1 minute mark anymore. It's at 30 seconds in. And the minion waves are now spawning on the full minute and on the half minute. So every 30 seconds starting on the full minute is when we have minion waves spawn, which makes it a little bit easier for players to properly anticipate them. So yeah, it's going to be a thing that you should probably also watch out for a little bit, is making some things easier. But with that, we have over on the right side, camps also claimed by names overrated. It's not only Rospidol that has gone for them. Muradin is already jumping around here and is getting some Stormbolts connected with Blaze, denting that big-ass armor over here. And in the middle, well, this is where that push is starting to slowly kick in. But names are overrated, it was ready, and are making their play. I like the Falstad pick. Falstad hasn't been taken a whole lot, but it's always cool to see globals being prioritized, especially in the current patch here. So this is going to help. So there's progression at the top lane already, as they were trying to go for Blaze again. Blaze himself with some really nice moves also against good old Muradin here initially. But the push in the middle of the map is not, I mean, it's not costing them any structures yet. But they are, of course, Once again, just like moving out, trying to rotate back down to the bottom of the map. There's always the nice factor of you having someone like Lucio that can speed up the rotations very, very quickly. But yeah, top side, still Maiev going up against Blaze. Then on top of that, we're now having also another Stormbolt hitting home here, but no follow-up on it. But we're having Falstad in the middle getting attacked by Urel, for example. Level 4 talents are available on both sides. We have tributes slowly spawning in just a moment. That's announced for the bot lane now, with the tribute kicking in. And this is where the battle for the curse, the first curse, is going to start up. And teams are ready for it. I mean, they're already down at the bottom of the map and try to push a bit here. Very little really happening so far. We haven't seen a kill yet. We haven't really seen any structures destroyed. Yes, the wall has been broken a little bit, but nothing where teams fully committed to anything yet. Both of them are fully aware that if they win the series, they make it into the playoffs, and if they lose, they're just out. So they really need to dig deep on this. Hanzuka gets a freebie. What? Okay. Lucio just went for it, and the blue team apparently blanked and didn't realize that it was happening this fast, this quickly, and they just let it go. So they were like, too late. Muradin tried to interrupt and was just half a second too late, but great for the red team, of course. That was an easy one. Good for them. Burning Halo for Tyrael. We have Muradin with heavy impact. That's, by the way, a bit of a given, because let's face it, that dwarf has needed a diet for a long time. So, of course, when he starts to jump somewhere, it's in heavy impact. I mean, he's not a tiny little feather over here. So, if he wants to avoid that heavy impact, then he definitely needs to hit the treadmill a little bit more often than he currently does. I mean, that extra slow is there. If anything, they should add another talent where he goes for a big roll after he starts jumping and then rolls over somebody. That could be some extra damage right then and there. For now, though, Muradin is just resorting to some extra slows, and they are fighting for that tribute. It's actually interesting that Names Are Overrated is going this deep. This is a position that is normally easily claimed by the blue team, a little bit closer to their own tools, but Mr. Taiko is put into a corner, and Urel doesn't die. Urel not down, Muradin jumps out, Hanzo wants to kill, couldn't get it. A lot of these guys are low. For Machko, his trade is of course kicking in with Muradin now, so that helps. He has third win too. Should probably stay away from the fight for a little bit longer to help them buy some time, so that he can just re-engage. They try to interrupt the Dark Wolf, but Tyrael gets it. Even with the death, they are able to get the tribute. I mean, kudos to Names Are Overrated. Not bad, boys. They snuck in the first one with Lucio. They got cheeky on it. And then on the second one, they were able to fight through it, even with them losing one of their heroes early. It was a 5 versus 4 for the blue team, but they already suffered so many hit point losses that they had to retreat. And now we have an insta play for the boss being made. There's a couple of risks being taken by Names Are Overrated throughout the game so far already, but it's playing off for them. So the boss claimed, I mean, this should be something where Rospedol knows what's going on. They see it now too, but I don't think that they can rotate over in time. And Urel, if she really wanted to try and claim it, then she was a bit late to the point. As long as she doesn't get killed here, she's going to be fine, and Brightwing with the Poly is helping. Muradin is at the bottom of the map, level 10 is now ready, and we actually get an Emerald Wind play from Brightwing instead of Blink here. So Emerald Wind and still Riptire. Could go for some isolation plays with Brightwing now, but definitely interesting. Judgment again for Tyrael, I assume, or is this time where we're going to change back to Sanctification? I don't think so. It's been Judgment all along. Unless they really feel they need that as a tool for their fight. Big arrow hitting 3. Nice. Judgment got shut down by the disc. Gets chosen, gets used, and then shut down before it can unfold. Short cooldown therefore for him. Falstad, he's still up on the map. Oh, that's Lucio gone. Yep, Falstad gets the tribute, and that is the blue team curse. But they don't care. They take Lucio out, they take Blaze out. Falstad might have been able to get them the objective, But I don't know how much value they're actually going to get out of this. They're going to get some, don't get me wrong. But it's going to be not a lot with only 3 heroes on the map. Junkrat is already down at the bottom of the map, for example. And we now have Urel coming in there too. They attack at the top. I find it always a bit weird if a team is able to get 3 of the early tributes in a row without having massive fight victories, but not a single kill yet for names are overrated. So I suppose good for Rospedol to get those kills when it really mattered, because as I said before, this curse is not going to go very far. Urel is still attacking, was looking to take Falstad out. He gets away, I guess. Damn, I mean, Itrax. What? Honorable Sudoku from Itrax, if you ask me. Tyrael died at the top, but Urel went way too deep on this. I suppose part of it was her just saying, hey, I can still get Falstad, and then jumping in, not realizing that there were multiple heroes accumulating in the mid lane trying to help Falstad out. But that death was highly unnecessary. Now, as I mentioned before, though, that curse did nothing. Absolutely nothing. They didn't even get real damage on a fort. So those heroes dying just as the curse was claimed, that definitely didn't help the red team. Then again, it's now reset to 0 on both sides. So the blue team is a little bit ahead in experience, have a better standing, but they also haven't really gained a whole lot here. It's a half-level advantage that they're running. It's nothing crazy. But 20,000 for Maiev. 25,000 for Hanzo. Urel is still pushing at the top lane a little bit. Yeah, and is getting that fort fairly low. Well, not quite to 50%, but you know what I mean. Where's down at the bottom of the map now. Muradin is starting to hit a Stormbolt hard again. There's a 3-man push now coming. Bit of help is probably needed if they want to avoid taking too much damage here. They have Junkrat for the Riptire. And this is actually something that I find now interesting. So why did he use the Riptire there? It's fairly easy. Now with the new Inspire mechanic, those minion waves are starting to become a real problem. And if you have a 2 versus 3 defense set up, you won't be able to take those minions out easily. So he just sacrifices Riptire, shuts the minions down. That essentially buys them 30 seconds until the next minion wave is there. And that helps others to rotate down in time and execute the defense together with them. So, yeah, well done. In the old patch, I don't think they would sacrifice a Riptire on this. I mean, we've seen Riptires used against waves, but usually not if it's just a single minion wave and a bit of a camp there. So they defended this well. 4 kills to 1. 13 on both sides. Muradin. There's that Stormbolt when you need it. And, well, there it is. Tyrael eats it. Tribute is spawning. A couple more camps have now been taken, not only in the middle of the map, but also the Siege Giant camp for the top. That's going to help Urel. They try to get the tether. Nice. And bye-bye, Hanzo. Madron is gone. Hanzo dead. Half a level until 16. And they're likely going to get this at the top. Blaze is now trying to move back, but he's going to be a bit late to the party here. There's no minion wave. Okay, minion wave is just now coming. So they got the Siege Giants and they got the minion wave now. Blaze is going to try and deal with it, but he's up against Urel and also Junkrat. So this is going to become a bit of a problem for him. He's doing well, though. He's doing much better in that situation than I thought he would. Yeah, well, and as I say, the caster curse kicks in and he dies. So that fort at the top is now completely exposed. It's down at the bottom of the map. Structures are also taking damage. Lots of pressure. Blue team, they're doing work now. They have that level 16 advantage, of course. And that really helps. Arrow. Okay. Judgment on Brightwing. And Tyrael is dead. Lavakal gets out. Muradin has to pop his avatar to deal with Falstad. But again, works for them. And the top fort has, of course, been crushed. So now it's 7 kills to 1. The fort at the top lane is gone. And they can still go for the boss down here. And I honestly don't think that the red team even has that on their radar right now. We have a tribute spawning in just a couple of seconds. They are making their way over towards the boss. They want to take this. I'm not so sure how quick they can be with it, because the blue team has theirs already. So they either are going to get the tribute now, or they're attempting to contest the top. It's one of the two. And it seems like they're going to go for the top lane, trying to interrupt there. Brightwing is still at the bottom of the map. Junkrat, not quite with him yet. And Mirrodin is there. Brightwing is already saying hello. And Brightwing has Emerald Wind. Keep that in mind. Urel gets perma-stunned and gets killed. But they get a counter kill on Tyrael as Brightwing uses his ult. But yeah, Urel didn't even have a chance to use her own ult in that situation. The boss got leashed, by the way, so I suppose they already accomplished what they wanted to do. They made sure that the opponent can't get the boss. Now the fort at the bottom of the map is gone for free. Red team has to defend. But if they defend, they lose their boss at the top. If they don't defend, then yeah, that bot lane boss is gonna do more damage. Urel is back in 14 seconds. Mirrodin has to jump out. A big arrow and jet propulsion. And they might just overstep a bit. Oh, no way. Oh my god, really? Okay, Mirrodin dies, but let's be honest here. That should have been more heroes that fall, right? Look at that arrow. That arrow and jet propulsion, and then only Mirrodin falls, and only because Falstad flew in. Okay. Bottom keep is exposed. Up at the top, they're now trying to go for that boss finally. Let's not forget that Rospidol hasn't lost a fort yet. Not a single fort has been lost and they're one level ahead. There's still that tribute has been on the map for minutes. 13.5, that's what we're now in. Ronick comes in too. They try and get the channel there. Interrupt, yep. Red team on their way. Dark Wolf in some trouble. Tries to get Judgment out. Couldn't. And is gonna die again. Tyrael is not having a good game. Tyrael is getting farmed. He is having a horrible second game here. 4 kills. It honestly feels like it was more. Falstad with a push enhancement at the top. Fearless leader. Inspiring the minions. They're just like whooping and howling. Like, woo! Falstad, you're so awesome! We're totally inspired now! Yeah. And they're helping out immediately. we should have degradations of being inspired. If you're an actual fearless leader, you know, that should be a little bit more damage. If it's Anduin trying to lead you, then it should just be like, I don't know, 20% movement speed and attack speed. Something like that. There should be gradations. That's just all that I'm saying. Like, not all heroes are made the same, in my opinion. Intensive wins. Farting jokes on Blizzard's side will never end. Brightwing and Samuro are the perfect examples for those. 9 kills to 3, but only a 1-level lead. But we're getting a curse, ladies and gentlemen. It is curse time over here. So this is where they need to take a few more structures out. And ideally, you want to take a keep. Alright, so push in the middle. You know, if Urel or Maiev are with you, I can understand that you're being inspired. Like, let's go, sir. We'll take him down for you. You know, something like that. But, yeah, otherwise, nah, not so much. So, they are getting the fort, and as I said before, with the curse now kicking in, this is really where I want to see if they can get a keep or not, because essentially that's what they have to try and do. All the forts are gone, the curse is in, you have a level 20 advantage. I mean, if you're not making the play right now, when will you? So, they are jumping in, take those minions out on the other side quickly, and now they have their own minions coming together, and they can easily dish out the damage. The question is just how much. Falstad is trying to take the backline minions out. Good call. But this is going a little bit too fast. Emerald wins, already getting used. And Tyrael just gets shut down time and time again. Honestly, that poor soul. He wants to use Judgment and he just can't. How many times was Judgment now shut down? Like, seriously. This was, I think, the 3rd time at a minimum. It might have been more. Again, it doesn't connect. Nice for the Wardens. And the Dark Wolf is in trouble once more. And gets killed as Mirrodin jumps over. Tyrael is hating his life right now. Tyrael is hating every single second of this game. Level 20 versus level 20. 10 kills to 4. A keep gone. Bosses should pop up, yep, in a couple of seconds once again. Which means that they could go for a boss play at the bottom of the map. Tyrael is not there. He won't be there in time. Then again, neither is Maiev. Sorry, Urel, but she will be there sooner. So, yeah, they could make a move here. Red team is attempting to sniff that out. Gust is ready, but so is Emerald Wind. And the blue team is getting in position for this. They have also Siege Giants at the top. So depending on how long this lasts, those Siege Giants might eventually become a threat topside. And Meridian is just jumping in immediately. I mean, he's right there. It's like, let's go. Gets stunned out, pops his avatar, and gets killed regardless. Yep. That kind of sucked for Rospedal. So, names are overrated. All of a sudden, they have the 5 on the map. And they want that boss, I suppose. And why wouldn't they? And if they take the boss, they can go to the top lane and immediately take theirs. Siege Giants and Catapults are pushing, as I said before. So there might be a chance to open that wall on the keep up. So far, they haven't gotten this one yet. Junkers, of course, there. Brightwing could technically try to get an Emerald Wind play going. But I do not think this is going to happen. They shouldn't risk that either. They need the 5 back up on the map, and Meridian is gone for another 20 seconds. So yeah, this one will be claimed. But they have Maiev now. And I would have loved for Maiev to just stay a little bit longer. They have vision. I'm actually not quite sure what Maiev is really afraid of. If they had the vision there, and I think they did, Maiev could have stayed longer and could have triggered the Inspire buff on the keep and get some damage in there. Or even on the wall. They got the wall, so the keep is open. Falstad had to retreat too, which means that that boss push is not going to be that difficult. 18 minutes in, so they can get this. They delayed the boss a bit, so the blue team was able to, I think, leash it once. And therefore slightly delayed it, but everything is kind of working well for the defense. And Rospedal, they are still, as I said, ahead. Even just that keep is worth it. Taking that boss at the top, that's a different story though. I'm not quite sure if they're going to get that one for free. I mean, they're all there, they're trying to rush it. But they're already coming and trying to sniff that out, but okay, they're not engaging into this. Meridian is just stopping short, second boss is taken. Is going to push for the top keep. So it's a pretty eye-level game now. There is still that mid lane problem. Mid lane is the only lane where the blue team still has their fort standing and the only lane where the red team has lost their keep. Which means there's continuous catapult pressure now through the middle. And we are 19 minutes in. So we are slowly getting there. Which is one of the reasons why names are overrated, is now trying to go for an aggressive push and flank in. They know that they should try and get themselves some value here. This time he gets the ult out. I was just about to say, you really can't really die here again with your ult up. That happened previously. They need to stop that, and they did. Boss is low, and, well, there's the hit coming in again as the disc is out. Blaze is hit by it. Boss is going for the key, but the silence, the poly, and Blaze has to drop the bunker. But while they are chasing, the mid lane gets pressured again. That core could lose hit points. The shield is definitely going to get scratched. Blaze is the first one to fall. Philadelphia on Falstad is now on the run, gets poly too, and it's the end of Falstad. Falstad gets destroyed, and as I said, mid lane, that is where the action is. Triple catapult, but they're coming in to attempt to defend. But of course, a little bit of damage will be done regardless. It's not a whole lot, but they're losing 10% on the core. So 10% is already gone there, and they want to make a play for it. They actually are making the play for it right now. They hit the Stormbolt on the core, try and remove that shield again, and that's lots of damage already, with Junkrat trying to drop the Riptire, but Tyrael interrupting it with Judgment. But it's just too much damage. I mean, they called it properly. Rospedal, they're taking the 2-0 lead in the best of 5 as they take the core down on Cursed Hollow and are victorious again over names are overrated. Coming up next, we have game number 3 for you guys. Before we go, a big shout out to everybody that is supporting the channel on patreon.com/Khaldor. Really appreciate the support, guys. Thank you very, very much. If you want to support the channel, if you want to support our efforts to keep the Heroes of the Storm esports scene live with all of the events and tournaments that we're hosting, then please consider to check out patreon.com/Khaldor and support the channel there. It's the best way to support all of the things that we're currently doing for the scene and plan to do in the future. With that being said, enjoy the next game of the series. Well, Dragonshire is our third map, and names are overrated, are down 2 maps, and we get a Tyrael ban pretty quickly. So, the one thing that I want to point out, by the way, I caught up late on it, but I caught it on the last map, and I talked about it during the draft. They follow the exact same pattern. Every single time they lose, or every single time they have map choice, they go Tomb of the Spider Queen, Cursed Hollow, Dragonshire. So these are apparently the 3 maps that Names Are Overrated really believes in. And they're coming in for them, which means that Rospedol has first pick, first ban over and over again. Sylvanas gets banned, Junkrat gets banned out, and with Dragonshire, I honestly still want to see some Zagara picks. I like the way that Zagara was played in Group B after the patch came out. I believe that we're going to see her again in the playoffs. The teams that we had in the last chance qualifier didn't really prioritize her highly, and it would still be fun to see her again, especially with that Infest push, which, to be fair, we've only seen, I think, once, twice. I think there's a 50% win rate right now, but I want to see more to see if this has potential or if the teams are just shrugging it off and are saying, you know what, this isn't for us. Chromie gets picked, so we got the fake dragon in the house again. Yep, and what's the play for Names Are Overrated? Right Wing Dehaka, Globals. Okay. Pretty quickly. But are we going to get... And I don't think they're going to go for the triple, right? We're not going to get a Falstad pick as well on top of that. Now, next to picks here. We have seen Cho'Gall on Dragonshire, just saying. Just saying. If you go for the cooldown, for the death timer reduction later, okay, this time no. They waited longer than I thought. They waited much longer than I thought. Garrosh and Leoric. Okay. Let's see. With Garrosh and Leo already claimed, God, I would... With Garrosh, these days, honestly, I want to see more Tychus because we had so many in the rhythm picks now. And if you have Garrosh together with Tychus, he can just flip a target. You get full minigun duration. You're getting the stacks there. It would be kind of cool to have more and more auto attack styles from Tychus. This is always something that I kind of enjoyed. But I don't believe that this is going to be the proper pick for the map or for them right now. But every time I see him, you know, just like it triggers that immediate connection for me. Anduin gets banned. And, well, we could still see a ban on the main tank, of course. Hanzo is out. So that eliminates also any kind of big arrow plays that we could see. Moment of truth, again, they need to win 3 in a row if they want to stay in the tournament. What is Names Are Overrated now going to do? They had some very nice comebacks against other teams. They struggled a bit against Rospedol so far, but game number 3, they still have another opportunity to make the moves here. So, what's it gonna be for them? We get Genji, okay, together with Brightwing. And we have Muradin. I mentioned Brightwing because in the HGC days we had Brightwing with Emerald Wind, as we've seen on the last map, plus Genji as a bit of a bomb play where you just swift strike in, Brightwing went on to Genji, and the timing worked out just so perfectly that you could with Emerald Wind then split the opponent's team and get an isolated kill there. So those Emerald Wind bombs were pretty awesome, but we haven't seen them in like in eternity. It's not really a thing anymore. Malfurion and Imperius, so we get our triple front line again. They're protecting Chromie in the back. Imperius still has good damage, of course. But, yeah, Lavakal on Malfurion. And the last pick for Philadelphia. Bit more damage is definitely needed. Genji alone is not going to be a thing. So, yeah, let's go. Dragonshire is potentially the final map. Could be. Or it's the beginning of a comeback. And the final pick is Zagara. There she is. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Let's see what Names Are Overrated can pull off here on Dragonshire. Rospedol with a 2-0 lead and match point on Dragonshire. As on the left, we have them starting in blue with Lavakal on Malfurion. We got Machko on Garrosh. We get Chromie, played by Bronek. Alvaros and Imperius. Itrex on Leoric for the blue team. And over on the right side, we have Dwarf Block for the Dark Wolf on Muradin. Hanzuka with Brightwing. Mr. Tycho is playing Dehaka. Philadelphia, okay, no Infest. We get Corpse Feeder, but still the Zagara play from him. And last but not least, Madron on Genji for the red team. Zagara already starting to move down to the bottom of the map. Actually, it's the Bermuda Triangle over here, as everybody is trying to make the opponent's team disappear. Yeah, quick hits against Mr. Tycho, but Dehaka is also fine, and now that nobody died, they are going to start and split off real quickly. So, down at the bottom of the map, that's where Zagara is slowly going to start to set up with a creep spread. That could rival Jadon if she's properly executing it. But top side, that's where we're currently looking at the 1v1 with Genji. I mean, Dehaka will take over and really should. We have also, in addition to all of that, still the money pick just racing around here on Malfurion. I like it. They're really looking for team fights, aren't they? I mean, they're coming to the top. Stormbolt hits Malfurion, so there's no immediate root follow-up. Could still come in, though. Hanzuka's low and is gone. And Dehaka might actually fall too, and does, as Leo comes in and swings for the fences. So, not really the ideal opening. It allowed Zagara to take the Siege Giants at the bottom of the map. But that's 2 kills now for Rospedol, and they also moved towards their own camps to try and grab those. We'll see how the blue team is gonna fare here, but at least those 2 initial kills, they set back. Names are overrated a little bit. Zagara is now taking control down at the bottom of the map over the shrine. We have Machko also getting attacked from the Hydra now, and that's a fight he doesn't want to fight just yet. Dehaka is on his way to make it 2 shrines for the red team, so they are already attempting to threaten the Dragonite. Control is there. The camps that have been taken after the heroes were taken out are now being used too, and there's obviously going to be the drain. In the middle, Alvaros is ensuring that there's no Dragonite for the opponent's team, but they already pushed out the bot lane to reclaim control over the bottom shrine. Bronick is also setting up a couple of traps as Mr. Taiko is again low, dodges out on the initial lunge from Imperius and still dies a second later. So that is the 3rd death on the side of Names Are Overrated. They are having some troubles. The Inspire push is now coming in. That's 2 minion waves actually that are pushing here. So it's not only the camp, but they are getting big damage out. This is a toughie. They're losing a lot at the top. And Malfurion with a couple of auto attacks could actually prolong this, does that. Inspire lasts for 3 seconds when you hit those auto attacks. Zagara is doing the same thing at the bottom of the map. So that's one of the reasons why Malfurion, before retreating, turned around real quickly and hit another ranged attack against the structures to make sure that he was applying the buff for longer onto the minions. So they destroy the top side wall. Some damage at the bottom of the map since Zagara had wiggle room to push here as well. But it's the blue team that is now slowly starting to threaten the Dragon Knight too. It was initially only the red team that made their plays here. Lunge, okay. But now the channel, and that's a DK. That's a Dragon Knight right there. They get it in time. Top lane, it tracks, he's gonna fall. Had to sacrifice himself. Leo goes down, but they get the Dragon Knight as a result. And there's not even anybody in the middle of the map now to deal with the DK. So this is going to get value one way or another, and it allows the rest of the team to push too. So, good job here. Trying to go for the minion waves. A bit of a punt attempt against Genji that got prolonged by him baiting him in deep with the Swift Strike. Zagara is pushing against the DK too. Everybody's actually coming towards the middle. And a nice little hit against Muradin. As he has to jump out, and gets the heal from Biting. I was just about to say, this could get disastrous here. So some damage done. The wall opened up. Top side also pressured more as Dehaka is going for the drag. But again, there's minions here, so the target priority is not a thing. Honestly, at the beginning, I wasn't really quite sure what's actually... That's a kill. I wasn't even quite sure what's going to happen with the priority change that Blizzard phrased. Because it wasn't, in my opinion, the way that they stated the target priorities of forts, core, and keeps wasn't quite clear. They just said that the forts wouldn't prioritize an attacking hero in range anymore. But it wasn't quite clear to me if they would say, okay, minions are general priority no matter what. Or if just the fort doesn't shift priorities to a hero when it's currently attacking something else. But as is, it's always minions that get prioritized first, and summons, of course, as well, from, let's say, a Nuburak or someone like Zagara. So fort diving, more prevalent than ever. Even though it hasn't been exploited as much as a lot of people were afraid of and feared. It's kind of crazy that both of these guys, Dehaka and Genji, got out. So, yeah, in comes the kill on Zagara. Malfurion gets that. And topside, Leoric is doing some work and was able to get the fort down to 50%. This time they're not going to get an easy kill on him. Okay. So, yep, well done. And down at the bottom of the map, they are going to push even further on this. Yeah, they're just playing around them. They have a 3-man push now with Siege Giants, and there's no way Brightwing can do anything about it. Level 10 is another problem that Names Are Overrated is now facing off against. So they gotta be super careful with this. While that happens, the Haka gets attacked at the top, and they might get a kill here too. So the Haka is gone, so that means more pressure against the top side fort. Likely it's gonna fall, as down at the bottom of the map, a 4-man defense is attempting to hold on to this. They can, but that's a lot of resources spent here. And Muradin gets taunted, pops his ult, and still dies. Yeah, even with level 10 abilities, they're now struggling here. And Leo, of course, still totally uncontested up at the top lane, is going to get mad damage out. Not able to get the fort immediately with that push, but they are aiming for another Dragon Knight. And with Imperius sitting in the middle of the map, he's already getting ready to channel. And I guess Genji is going to interrupt him, at least initially. But there's 2 forts that are now in danger. So yeah, Imperius is coming in, starting to make their moves now. There's the flip though against Genji, with a bit of assistance to try and help Imperius grab that DK. Genji with 14,000 damage. There's a taunt out, but the Dragon Knight is taken once more. 17,000 damage for Chromie, still fighting off against Philadelphia at the bottom of the map. Zagara so far with less impact than expected, but it's just that the red team overall is having some huge troubles. So once again, we're having the quick attack right there in the middle that eliminates one fort. The next one is getting attacked down at the bottom of the map and will likely fall too, but well, we have Malfurion at least taken out. The Dragon Knight though is getting the kill simply with the Dragon's Breath alone, so that's 2 forts gone. And while there are some heroes on the blue team that are dying, we have all the way up at the top now Leo going for the next and final fort. He's going to get this one too. So that means that there's not a single outer structure standing any longer. 4 names are overrated, and this is a huge problem talking about the next few objectives that we're going to get here. Leo is going to die again. Zagara had to use them more because she realized that she might actually not survive long enough. But Leorki is now down for the 4th time. The Dragon Knight just sitting there and is like, well, we can't really go any deeper without the rest of the team being available. But it's 6 kills to 6 now. The passive experience increase that the blue team is now going to get is significant though. Really significant. So, yeah, even talents, that's true. Ooh, also, we got the here and there currently for Chromie. So a little bit more mobility and teleportation skills for her. It's a tough game. It's a really tough game for Names Are Overrated. This is where you have to dig deep in order to make sure that you're not dropping out of the tournament. But it's not an easy one. All of the structures lost their 0-2 in the best of 5 series. And the blue team is showing absolutely no signs of slowing down. We're going to try and extend that lead further. And now they are, of course, having a much easier time taking control of these shrines too when the next objective spawns, simply because there's no forts and fountains left any longer for the blue team, for the red team. And Genji gets murdered. Genji gets absolutely wrecked. So does the Haka in the middle. 2 more kills for them. So with Genji and the Haka gone, now the entire map is opened up again, which could allow them to take some mercenary camps. There's only one at the bottom of the map now, as opposed to Siege, and has 2-minute time on them. So there's not a lot to grab. They're going to go for the only camp that is in plain sight here. I'm going to take this. They will be able to push with it, of course. Leo is trying to solo push at the top a little bit. He has a camp, he has catapults, massive amount of minions too, but they're not going to allow him to go any deeper there. The problem for the red team is really the shrines that are now spawning, because we're half a level away from 16 for Rospedol, and they have no forts and fountains, as I said earlier. So unless they're able to get a few more kills, they're not gonna be able to stop this. And they might be able to kill Leo, but even if they do, Leo has a real nice mechanic around death timer reduction, of course, and spawns on site, making all of this super difficult. And yeah, we'll see. I mean, at this point, we have 16 in play. That gives us Nature's Balance. We have also Melting Touch. We get Mithril Maze. Earthshaker is ready. And they can make their play for the next Dragon Knight. The fort at the bottom are gone. The keep wall halfway destroyed. 1 level missing until the next talent. And the blue team isn't really overdoing it yet on the objective. but they are always ready to push a little bit more here. Muradin jumps in, gets thrown out. Dehaka says hello and misses the ult. Still has the lick, but the Storm ult misses too. They're going for Chromie. She gets saved, and only Garrosh gets hit by them all. They want that fight as Leo goes for the topside shrine, and they could also now go for the objective again. And with Genji eliminated and Brightwing falling, they will get that Dragonite. Leo can take the shrine and will in just a second. Dehaka is rushing away, trying to escape here, runs straight into the range on the fort and dies a painful death, which gives another Dragonite over to the blue team. Rospiadol is looking great here. They're looking fantastic. 11 kills to 5. 1.5 level advantage now, and the opportunity to eliminate the first keep of the game. Catapult, Dragonite, and Minion Wave that are pushing through the bot lane now. And the defenders, they're not all on the map yet. They're trying to get level 16, which they just now did, but it's still unlikely that they're going to be able to save the keep here. There's just too much pushing. Inspire kicks in for the ranged minions. We have the Catapult dishing out damage, the Dragonite itself, and bam, keep number 1 is gone. 2-level lead now on top of that for Rospiadol, and they are pressuring straight up for the core now. They already killed Genji again, so Genji is gone. That is a huge loss for the defenders. The shield gets eliminated quickly, and with this, we are likely going to see the end of the series. It seems like Rospiadol is going to be the team to move on to the playoffs. The red team rushing away, running, trying to survive. The attempt to kill Chromie in the back. The core down to 70% so far, but the defenders are not giving up on this. Names are overrated, doing their best to somehow stay in this, and Itrax is low, and it seems like for now at least they can shut them down. The shield is slowly regenerating, keep is gone, core lost 30%, but the blue team has to retreat. They lost Leo, which is fine, died for the 5th time now, but the rest of the team is now on the run. Muradin with another Stormbolt, attempting to help them to get more kills. The Arca coming in, they want more, they're aiming for more. But there's also waves pushing on the remaining lanes. Keep that in mind. With the catapult pressure, this could accumulate to something. 13 minutes in, this will still over time do some work. Muradin is waiting for the Stormbolt cooldown, gets stopped by Garrosh, and the blue team is able to retreat. Top side, this is where we're going to get a bit more wall damage. Not a lot. In the middle, yeah. Gate and the side wall taken out. 43,000 damage for Zagara now. 50,000 for Chromie. And while Rospiadol has done tons of damage and is still massively ahead, there is, of course, still the chance for a comeback. But they need a big team fight for it. And the problem that names are overrated is going to run into now is the level 20 talent that we get for Rospiadol. They are half a level away from it. They are not going to need much more than those 20 seconds until the shrine spawn in order to get there. If you look at the experience distribution overall, look at the passive XP difference between the two teams. It's insane. This is where the big difference comes from now. Minion XP plays a role too, obviously, so does the hero experience. But we have currently a 6,500 point gap in passive experience, and this is just going to widen. So level 20 is in. And we already have Siege Giants, Catapults pushing at the bottom, forcing Dehaka to react. The blue team is now moving towards the top side to deal not only with this wave, but also to ensure that they're going to grab themselves another Dragonite. And they might even be able to get Zagara here. The Entomb is stopping her from retreating. Brightwing is coming in too. Fight is forced on level 20. Zagara in the corner. Great Maw might save her for a bit longer, but she dies eventually. So did Leo. He's the sacrificial pawn here as the ult hits Muradin. He gets attacked too. There's instantly the lunge attempt. Good save from Garrosh, but Dehaka is still there. Wants to go for Alvarez. Gets the lick. Mr. Taiko is low. And we have the attack at the core in just a moment. The catapult is here and we have Siege Giants as the fight is still raging on at the top. 13 kills to 8. Imperius is going for the objective, but Genji is trying to reclaim the bot lane to make sure that they can't take another Dragonite that easily. Shield is missing. They lose some hit points on it too. The core now down to 63% as Dehaka defends. Genji gets hit. Muradin though, he's part of the party now. and tries his best to prevent the Dragonite from being captured. But Leoric is back as well, and that is where the disaster at the bot lane is going to unfold. Big stuns, big plays, big kills. Genji, Muradin, both gone. Brightwing on the run, not going to make it. Hanzuka is attempting to rush away here, and it's just not happening. So that's another kill. Dehaka moved towards the top to try and get that shrine, I guess. But the blue team doesn't even bother with this anymore. They're moving straight down to the bottom of the map to end the game. 16 kills to 8. We're 16 minutes in. And without a level 20 talent and only 2 defenders, it's going to be impossible for Names Are Overrated to stem the tides here. This is it. Rospedal moves on to the playoffs, and Names Are Overrated. Great showing in the tournament, but it was not enough to get there. They get eliminated. The Polish team is the last one to join the playoffs of the tournament. GG.